Hola a todos. This video is not for everyone, but for those of you all who this video is for, you're about to learn a lot. If you've wanted to learn a language, you've been trying to learn the language, this will help you a lot. I don't have anything to sell you. I just want to help you guys learn the language. There's 3 mistakes that you're making. The 3 mistakes you're making is what's stopping you from learning languages and being able to speak it fluently. Now, I'm actually here in Puebla, Mexico, so yes, the language here is Spanish. Yes, I do speak Spanish. I speak French fluently and English fluently as well, as among 7 other languages, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. So the first mistake that you're making, I want to really help you guys out, and we're going to go for a walk, give you guys a little tour of this city as well here in, or this is not Puebla, excuse me. This is San Pedro, about 20 minutes from Puebla, Mexico. So the first mistake that you're making is you haven't decided if you want to speak the language, write the language, read the language. It sounds really like super simple, but it's a big mistake you can make, I think. For me, for example, being here in Mexico, I don't want to know how to spell necessarily. I don't really want to know how to read necessarily. I want to know how to speak. That's the most important thing that I want to know. I want to learn how to speak. I want to be able to walk up to these people here that are selling things and say something to them. Not necessarily know all the conjugates and how to say all these different things, but if I know them, if I don't know them, formal, informal, I want to be able to speak it. So that can be one of the biggest mistakes, is because I had a friend and she was here taking a course. She was there for an hour and a half and she took it 4 days a week, and I was with her for at least a week of those programs. And when we went out to restaurants, she couldn't order food. She couldn't speak to people in just a restaurant or on the street. She knew very simple things. And I was just like, all that money and all that time you're paying, you could have just learned simple things, phrases that you're going to be using a lot in your day-to-day life, which leads to number 2. And this number 2 is probably the most important thing and the biggest mistake you're making when trying to learn a new language. You're not learning words and phrases that are relevant to the life that you have, okay? You're not learning words and phrases that are relevant to the life you have. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we're arriving at the center square. Don't worry about all the military people with guns. It's just a kind of normal thing here. When I say that, I mean you're learning words that you don't really use on a day-to-day basis. And in the beginning, when you're learning a language and you're clouding your mind with learning how to say, I don't know, whatever you learn. I think when I've done Duolingo before, which is I'm horrible at, I learned a whole bunch of words that I never, ever really use. So learn words that are relevant to where you are. If you're traveling, the main things that you should be learning is like, where is, how much, like, what time is it? Like, these are important phrases to learn. These should be the first things that you learn. You know, it should be the number 1 thing you learn. It's something that's relevant to the life you have. So traveling, it's a different kind of language. Look at that, so beautiful. Traveling is a different kind of language than if you work at an auto store with selling cars. That's a different language than you learn if you're playing sports. If you're new around here, I was a pro athlete for 12 years. I played in a lot of different countries where English was not the first language. In Luxembourg, in Spain, in France, Australia, they spoke English, but a different kind of English. If you're from Australia, you already know your English is a little different from ours in the United States. But I knew the language of playing. So in German, do I speak German? Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. But the most important thing is that with German, I knew how to say the things that were relevant to what I needed to know. Stop, go, pass the ball. I knew how to say things like that. And it took me a day to learn that. So in one day, I was able to communicate with the people who I needed to communicate with. You all who are traveling, you can easily learn languages, learn phrases and words that will help you so much. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Has to be relevant to the life that you have, okay? And if you're a friendly person, learn words that are relevant to your personality. You're not learning words that are relevant to your personality. One of the things that are relevant to my personality is I love joking. So I need to know how to say certain things in a certain kind of way, and at the same time, I need to know how to say joke. Like, it's a joke. It's an important thing for me to say in case people don't get it. So that's the number 2 mistake. And the number 3 mistake is you're spending too much time learning words. So you're spending so much time learning how to say, for example, tree and ground and sky and bell and train and church. And what you need to learn, the mistake you're making there is because you can learn 1,000 words and not know how to put any sentences together. So one of the things that, for me, I think that really helps people to give them a lot of confidence is for them to learn phrases first that you can add things to, because then you can start making sentences. The first thing, if you were to sit down with me and I were to teach you anything, Polish, Spanish, French, Russian, other language I speak, Dutch, whatever it is, I would teach you how to say I have, I want, I need. You would master those 3 things, okay? You would master those, because once you can master that, you can put together sentences. And once you can put together sentences, that brings you like such a confidence booster, because you can be like, I want, and then you can point. Learn how to say the word later. But learning how, if you make the mistake of learning how to say the word first without knowing how to put it into a sentence, I feel like that like hurts like your morale. I feel like the morale, because, hola, ¿cómo estás? I feel like that it hurts your morale. And I think once you can go around and start saying sentences like, hey, where is, and then just say the word that you're looking for, because now you know where your weakness is. I think I have friends that learn so many words in different languages and they can't put together a sentence to save their life. If you're learning how to speak the language, then writing it and all that stuff isn't relevant in the beginning. I know it sounds really counterintuitive than what you learn in school, because you learn how to spell and all that kind of stuff first. I speak French. For the first year, I spoke French and I learned it and I could speak it fluently. I couldn't read it, I couldn't write it. If someone needed to tell me something, I'm like, send me a voice message. Or I do Siri translate it on my phone. But I learned how to say words. Then when I started to put those words with learning how to spell it, now the spelling came to me. And then when I put that with writing it, then I learned how to write as well. So it's about combining all those things together and not making the mistake of just trying to learn a whole bunch of words. Apple, red, blue, green, yellow, pink, and you use so much money on that, but you don't know how to say, can I have an apple, please? Because you can replace apple with anything. Can I have a ride? Can I have a taxi, please? Where is? So that would be the 3 mistakes that I see people make a lot. If you have any questions on it, just send me a message. I get a lot of people asking me, Luke, how do you speak so many languages? How do you learn messages? How do I learn languages so quick? It's really just because I don't make those mistakes. I had a friend who we both left Australia at the same time to play, to go to another team. I got traded to Germany to play. He got traded to play in Japan. And he had to have a translator with him everywhere. Everywhere he went, he had to have a translator. Me, I have the personality where it's not a big deal. I just will meet people and someone will speak English. People are always guided to me. I always believed that, even back when I was younger. But the one thing he told me was that the first thing that he learned, the first word, and I'll let you guess, what do you think the first word that they taught him was? Because the translator's with you when you go around places, but not every time. You know, you might be in a club, you might be somewhere and the translator's not there. So the translator teaches you the very first word he learned, and I had another friend who did tours in China and they learned the exact same word. What would you say is the first word that they learned? No, it's not thank you. No, it's not you're welcome. No, it's not excuse me. The very first word that they were taught was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I learned that was over 10 years ago. And even now, when I go into a country, it's the first word that I learn how to say is I'm sorry. Because a lot of times when you don't know what you're saying and you can mess up a word and you feel shy and like, did I say the wrong thing? They reacted weird to me. You can literally just say I'm sorry and change the mood very quickly. But when you make those 3 mistakes, learning a language, I think it just slows it down. And one of the most important things that I tell myself, I tell my friends, if you know me, you know I'm like this, and I tell my clients this as well, is one of the most important things that kids show us, and I think that they're the ultimate teachers in this, is they know how to have fun. And if you don't make learning a language fun, you're going to struggle, because it's going to be very challenging, and you might not use the word challenge, you might choose another word, and it's going to you're not going to excel as someone who's going to have fun. And if I had to put a bonus in there, if I had to give you a bonus help, and it's something I've helped people with, you guys anyone who's booked a call with me about going to a place where they speak a language, we've talked about it, is you're not immersing yourself in the language. Meaning, if you really want to learn Spanish and you can't go to a Spanish-speaking place, meet someone who speaks Spanish. Go to a place in your town where there's a Spanish people. You have a Spanish friend, hang out with them. Pay them to go somewhere, like with you, and work on speaking to them. Not have them teach it to you, but just practice with them. And when you immerse yourself, that's when you learn. We could take two people, okay? We take one and we put them in an Italian class, okay? We take one person, put them in an Italian class, and we give it to them for free for 8 weeks for an hour a day, and they come every day to class. Or we take the other person and we drop them off in Italy, in the middle of Rome, and give them a key to an apartment and a credit card. Which one do you think is going to learn Italian the fastest? More importantly, let's charge it up a little bit more. I'm treating you like you're one of my clients. Now, let's charge it up a little bit more. Now, let's say the person who's in the Italian class is in class, and they're starting to learn a little bit more, and it's going good. And let's say the person's in Italy. Now, all of a sudden, they meet someone who they fall in love with. They meet someone who they fall in love with, and the person who they fall in love with does not speak English. The person who they fall in love with only speaks Italian. And they meet them on the second day. Who do you think is going to learn Italian faster? At the end of the 2 weeks, who's going to speak better? Who's going to speak quicker? Who's going to have more confidence? The difference is they were immersed in something that they loved, and it was an emotionally charged. And yeah, that would be one of my secrets to how I've spoken so many languages, how I speak so many languages, and how I learn them so quickly. And saying I'm sorry when I make mistakes, or I say a joke that's not funny in that culture, which has happened plenty of times. And yeah, hope that helps you guys out as I'm here in the center of San Pedro. San Pedro, I can't even say the first name of the city. I forget cities. I just came here literally last minute. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Any other questions you have on anything like that, leave in the comment section. And good luck learning your new language. Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'd love to help you out any kind of way I can. But until we speak again, remember to work hard, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao.